Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Late Night Craft Talk.
It's time for...
It's time. Let me get that countdown timer going. Boom.
Yep.
10 minutes to go. And the alarm's going off that we are live. Time to share.
And maybe, James, you want to turn off your cell phone notifications?
No, because I wanted to let me know we're live. It's become like a tradition now since it's going on every week.
Like that you never turn off your notifications, even though I ask you in advance to turn off your notifications.
Because I just want to be a rebel.
Yeah, you want to be annoying?
No, a rebel.
You mean annoying?
It's not annoying. My phone's annoying you. And if it's annoying you, Jar Jar Pickle's doing good.
Oh, no.
Gotta feel the love, folks. All right. Svea, guess what tonight is?
What night is it tonight?
Our first show.
Of the year.
Of the year. And we're kicking off with a public information episode that a lot of y'all tonight will like what you see tonight. It will be informative. It may help you. It may help a stranger. It may help a friend. Tonight we're covering medicine. Oh. Guess who's on? Who's saying hi?
Oh my gosh. Is this the actually acting president?
It's the knife-wielding grandma herself, Vivian.
It's the actual acting president of the fan club. I wonder if the actual president of the fan club will show up tonight.
I don't know. Vivian's doing good. Maya, you got to step up your game.
I know, right? She should be the first one signed on because she's the number one fan.
She should. I have a feeling we're going to hear a lot from Vivian tonight, especially with our subject matter tonight.
I'm
looking through my first aid kit, looking for like a little first aid kit I usually carry that I can't seem to find at the moment. That's inconvenient. Looking through a backpack I usually carry, and I'm like, where is it? Don't make me dump stuff on the floor.
What do you think,
I'm going to
baby?
dump stuff on the floor.
What do you think, baby?
Yep.
Is it
All right,
time?
dumping stuff on the floor.
Is it time?
Where are you, thingy? I don't want to go running out while the show's going. Have you hit share yet, Svea?
Oh, I've just been playing with my dog.
You're playing with your dog.
Yeah.
I'm working for the show. Digging out stuff.
Oh, whoops. Am I supposed to be sharing?
You should be sharing. I can't find the
Okay,
menu.
Vivian. You need to be sharing.
I hope you're sharing, Vivian.
Sharing.
Well, that's inconvenient. You're supposed to be a little first aid kit. I find. Oh, here it is. Nope, that's not it. That's a battery. Well, I'm glad I didn't anybody hurt around me. I don't know where the first aid kit is.
Let's see.
I was somewhere in this backpack. I need to eventually get off what I'm doing here and like share the show. Well, should have looking for it a little while ago. Okay, is what it is.
This is weird. It's so funny. It doesn't let you share and actually add like a story. You have to actually specifically say more options. What did you want to just add to your feed? It doesn't make sense.
Are you using your tablet or your laptop?
Laptop.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to share. Let's see. Pages. And there's the show. And make sure my keyboard's over here. We got several people watching. And there's the show. And I'm going to share it. Folks, you got to do this with me.
Let's see. Carolyn, Vivian, Jennifer, Marek, Christine, Lynette, Earl, Johnny, James, Tabby, Christy. I'm tagging everyone here.
Everyone. Tag, you're it.
Everyone's getting tagged. Everyone. Oh, my friend. I was gonna say my friend Myra not Myra. Elaine, my sister-in-law. She's probably a good person because she's actually a nurse. But she probably would. She's so tired all day.
Oh yeah, I mean, some of these medical personnel go out and do 12-hour shifts. I'll be giving my latest to my advancing career here. Briefly, and where's that first aid kit? Dang it. Let me see here. Keep a little bag of clothes. Nope.
There's so many people that to tag, but it's hard to get everyone in there.
What's that?
There's always so many people to tag. I mean, I could tag like 100 people, but it's just
That's a big game of tag.
I know. I just figure I'm just going to tag people here and there, like Lynette.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yay.
Here we go, folks. Tonight we're covering first aid, basic first aid, and home emergencies. This will be part of an ongoing series we do every month or two. And tonight we're just going to cover the basics of first aid and what it is and what you should probably keep in your first aid kit at home.
Especially because James is now studying this again, which is cool.
Again.
Again. It's gonna be. Those are so good, Lynette. Those are like eating Almond Joy, but just the nut.
All right, Vivian shared. Vivian wins the prize.
Yes.
Vivian, you win. You win a smile from me. You win a smile from Svea and I. Here it is. Svea, ready? We're gonna do the smile. That's for you, Vivian. Okay, there we go.
You're good, huh?
Honestly, that was spur of the moment. We're gonna share. We're gonna share a smile, and then Svea's like just gets in and just starts smiling and knows what we're gonna do.
I was doing this too.
Yeah, you were. Well, let's show Vivian one more time. Show her what you were doing.
Shaking your hand.
That's for you, Vivian. I could almost hear her cracking up. My mind's imagination just almost hear it right there. Okay, 3.5 minutes to go. We are live, folks. First show of the year. Live.
Oh.
Christine Tracy says mom is watching. Who's mom?
That's my mom.
Your mom. Oh, boy. Is that most of our viewers?
Yeah, just you, me, and Jar Jar Pickles watching the show.
No, Jar Jar Pickles was handling the technical end.
Okay.
That just explains our high quality production values. My mom's probably watching too. Mom, if you're watching, go out, put it on there. We say
now it's a mom's competition, is it?
My mom could beat your mom up.
What?
You see my mom?
You know what? Have you seen my mom? She can reach for things up high. She doesn't have to ask for help to get something down off the shelf.
That's okay. My mom's tough enough. She's got to grab the stool or grab a ladder from the side yard, carry it over by herself, a 75-pound ladder, and then crawl up there and get it.
Like, I'll just climb, Michelle.
Oh, she does. Okay. Well, all I can say is, like, how fast does your mom drive?
I'm going to just say no comment on that.
Yeah. See, my mom used to race cars. She used to drag race. She's still a gearhead. She can still change oil. She's 75. All right. We got 2 minutes to go, folks. 2 minutes to count down. So, what are you drinking?
My dinner.
Oh, it's a protein shake thing?
Yeah.
Guess what I'm drinking?
See this bottle? This is a protein shaker bottle.
You know what this is?
That's your thing of water?
Nope. Kombucha.
That kombucha stuff tastes
like when I drink it, I was like, all right. Huh? Well, don't do Pepsi. Remember the show, don't drink a Pepsi.
And you're like, ooh, that smooth kombucha.
Well, granted, it sounds like something a German would say.
Yeah.
German entertainment. Kombucha. Or Japanese German. How's that?
It's German for spoiled.
Japanese German?
Okay, so the Peanut Gallery said it's German for spoiled tea.
Makes as good sense as anything. Thank you, Svea's friend. All right, we still got people watching. Svea, we got less than a minute to countdown. You about ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Get the show started.
Do we have to?
Oh.
There's so much security sitting behind the camera.
You know, I could just go and play my video game. Like, you know, I can tell you a whole story about it.
We already did a show on video games. Old games. I'm gonna see if I can.
Another show about video games because I'm now starting to play video games again.
What? Where's that battery pack? There's the battery pack.
Oh my gosh! You know what, James? Vivian can be the show mom. That can
Your
be
mom, Chris. We're gonna bring that up when we get done with credits here in a second. Vivian's latest comment. The show mom.
That would be kind of. She could be the show mom.
My mom would be the bouncer. All right, well, we're already in the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
4,
3,
2.
1. Showtime. It's time for Late Night Craft Talk with hosts Svea Yang and James Hermes. Let's get the fun started. It's time to start the show. Svea,
Yes.
what's up?
So, hello, everyone. If you haven't watched our show before, welcome. This is our show, Late Night Craft Talk. We do it every week. We go over all kinds of topics. We do all kinds of things. We have guests. We have topics. We have comedy. We have all kinds of stuff. It's a whole ball of stuff. And we do this every week on Friday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is aired live on our Facebook pages, our YouTube channels, on our Twitch channels. So pretty much you can watch it anywhere. If you can't watch it live, you can always watch it after because it is recorded and it is put onto all the different clouds in several places.
Several places.
Make sure to like and subscribe and, click happy, click subscribe, follow.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, when you start off, you say, welcome, come over. You remind me of some scene from a movie. I can't quite place the moment, but it's like, welcome to our show where all good energy flows. Our first show of the year will be your biggest laugh and you will not live in fear. Oh.
Okay, so with all that
with
said, hey, James.
Yep.
What's going on with Elk Rack Traders today?
We're changing more of our online format, completely rehashing our website. As of New Year's Day, I got to move from our old server that has been giving me problems for months. It has been the biggest detriment to business in 10 years, and that includes the 2020 pandemic, to try to get it going. But we're having to rebuild the site, and I'm working on it through over the weekend. So it'll be up real soon and start making stock to get that stuff going. Otherwise, we will be at the Agua Caliente Bird Singing Festival, January 28th, as well as Palm Springs Village Fest almost every Thursday. You'll see us there, and then PAL season kicks off for us in April. And that's what's going on with Elk Rack right now is just rebuilding, rehashing the websites because I get emails we got like several emails a week going, it's back up. I'm like, I can send you pictures of what I got, but I'm locked. And the epic nightmare website is almost done. It is unlocked. I can finally start doing something with it. Finally, it's just, what's going on with Dancing Bear?
So today we had a visitor in our store. We had Emily from Anishinaabe Bimishimo Jingles.
Formerly our guest on the show too.
She surprised me. Oh my gosh, it was so cool to see her in person. And she was really excited to see her jingles in our store. And she was excited to see all the fabric and the beads. And she bought like handfuls of beads. She like filled baskets of beads. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't get this.
Did she come in with two big Christmas bags like Santa Claus of jingle cones?
Well, she definitely bought a lot like she was shopping for Christmas time.
Yeah, it's like this. Anybody who runs a business, especially there's a lot of artwork, they send out our artwork for Christmas. That means you're getting your Christmas present sometime in January. That's seriously the case with me. All right, we've got some posting catch up.
But let me finish telling you. Okay, I haven't finished. So we are working on expanding our CDCR catalog. So for those of you who have family that are incarcerated in the state of California, we are actually expanding a lot of the products that we're going to make available to the inmates in California so they can do more beadwork. So we're doing a whole bunch of different types of beads. We're adding books. We're adding cards. We're adding some more women's floral scarves. We're adding all kinds of stuff. So that's been my project this whole week I've been working on. And then on top of that, this weekend is the Pachanga Powwow. It's been many years since it's not been around. So James is having like Freaky Friday on his back.
I can't make up my mind.
So what's happened is that they're having their powwow Pechanga, and we weren't able to attend. But we are telling everyone about it because it's a big deal that Pechanga brought back their powwow. I'm really excited about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're really excited about it coming back. So we really wanted to make sure everyone knew about it. So this weekend, if you get a chance, go over to Pechanga and go check it out. It's in Temecula. We have a lot of friends and show fans and customers that live in San Diego area or in Riverside area. Temecula is right in the middle between the two. Definitely a worthwhile event. There's a lot of people traveling from all over the U.S. to go to the show. I heard the drum groups are really a big deal. Like they have some really great drum groups. And like I said, I know like Emily came down from Canada to go to the powwow. So that's huge. So definitely Pechanga powwow this weekend. And if you feel like if you just happen to be in the area and you wanted to stop by our store, we are open on Saturday from 10 to 6, and we're open on Monday. We're closed on Sundays. So if you do want to break away from the powwow for a little, if you are attending the powwow.
30 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay, Mom. I was going to say that.
Nothing but reminders during the show live for Mom who's also watching.
Yeah, she just comes over and is like, oh, by the way. I'm like,
Chris, you still there? You still there, Chris?
James wants to talk to you.
Yeah, just me and a few people. Stick your head in the camera, say hi. And then whisper in Svea's ear like you're reminding her to do something. Let's do a reenactment. She there? Just whisper in her ear. Hi, Chris.
He wants to reenact like you're
telling.
Just reenact.
Just whisper in what Svea's are and tell her what you remind her.
You have to keep doing a great job.
That's not what you reminded her. A good save.
So, our store is 30 minutes south of Temecula. We definitely, when we go to powwows, we definitely limit what we have at our store at the powwow because obviously it's only either a 10 by 10 or a 40, like it's a 10 by 20 or a 40 by 40 space. That's very small. Our store size, where's that feedback coming from? Our store size is 2,800 square feet. That is impossible to fit into 4 10 by 10s. So we have a whole bunch of fabrics. So if you are in the area, you definitely want to come check out our fabric selection. You definitely want to check out our beads because our bead wall is like 60 feet long. And I mean, we have 2 canopies. So 2 canopies, that's 20 feet long.
Oh, awnings.
Yeah.
Okay, we forgot something, and I've been showing it to try to get you to comment. You're doing that on purpose.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, you are.
You're doing it.
I didn't do it. You do it. No, you're doing that.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you are.
Freaky Friday.
Now you're doing it. Okay, we'll just leave the banner up because I was looking, we were doing it, you were talking. I was like, I gotta get the banner up. Then I went, let's just keep on flashing it until Svea goes, James, stop it.
So anyway, everyone, we definitely would love to see you come to our store if you can. We're going to be, like I said, we're open on Saturday. We're not open on Sunday. And we're not open on Sunday. But if you went to the powwow and you're still in town on Monday, come by on Monday and visit us. So
absolutely.
Anyway.
Let's catch up with some viewer comments right quick to go up because I love this one. From Vivian, she says, your mom, Chris, and I need to go out on the town. And then after that, James, save up on bail money. Ain't that the truth? This is going to be a combination of The Hangover and Bad Grandma.
Wow. You know what? That would be really funny. We should have a Bad Grandma segment to make. With my mom and your mom.
Oh yeah, matter of fact, on our next show meeting, Vivian sent me a message about. I'll just say it right now because this is kind of a show meeting. Is that Vivian asked if we do a thing and have viewers talk about the towns they're from or talk about their small towns, and she got a lot of ideas from Kokomo. So I got to talk about that on Monday. But she sent it to me. I was like, I like that. Go Viv, go that. So other comments we have. We have Lynette that says, Happy New Year, Svea and James. Love the show. Thank you, Lynette. We love you too, and Happy New Year's. And then we have from Vivian, hi, Maya. And then look who's here, Maya from San Diego.
San Fuego, is that a typo? Because isn't Fuego cold?
San Diego. All I know is that when we started the show, Vivian was there immediately. But Maya, you ready, Svea? Maya, you have one job to be El Presidente of the Friday Ninja Monitor Starter Squad, but you got it. But catch up on viewer comments. Hello, late night Craft Talk family, and Rachel. Hello, Rachel, right there. And then Emily is so cool. I remember her being featured on the show when I learned what a jingle dress was. Yes, Emily from Anishinaabe Bimishimo.
Mm-hmm.
I remembered that. Okay.
Yeah, she told me some new exciting stuff that's coming up. Maybe I can convince her to come on our show to talk about the new stuff.
We should. That would be awesome. She's always fun, especially when we did the hula hoop and the hair.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. Hello, guys.
That's Joya. Remember?
Joya, right? Says hello, Chris. And then we have Wendy Hodge says it's a ghost, probably from the feedback.
Screen.
Yep. And the comments are really coming in. And then, of course, we have from Wendy Hodge to somebody that was late, Maya. And she's doing with an exclamation point, and it's not like, hello, Maya. What Wendy means is probably this. We will give the appearance of the look she's giving. You earned it, Maya. You got to bring it on. Okay. With that, we got to go on to a show.
Look at her response.
I wasn't that late. Right. Tell that to an ambulance driver. Okay.
Right.
Totally. Well, we're touched on the subject tonight. Okay. So the updates with the new career thing, Elk Rack's still running. It's a family business, but I started pre-med officially this week. Yep. I took an orientation class for EMR, which is emergency medical responder. And get this. This has been a trip down memory lane. Okay. My first class I took for EMT, the regular class, was in 1994, just a few years ago. And so I had to dig out so I could be included after the EMR emergency medical responder class. I could take the 8-week condensed one. Normally it's 16 weeks, and that's a lot thrown at you because it's a 9-unit class for EMT, emergency medical technician, for those of you that don't know. So I had to go through and look for my old certificate from the issuing agency, being Riverside County. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find my old card. But what I found was, I'm holding it right here. Where are you? I found the receipt for $15 from Riverside County in 1994. This is the actual receipt written right there for my card. I found a letter with instructions on how to get registered to get the card. I even found a little the certificate from the class from College of the Desert from 1994. Wait, there it is, right there. Wait, over there. Dang, you reverse angles. From 1994. They accepted my credentials. They accepted what I presented them because the only thing I have is the letter that came with the card in 1994. It says, "Congratulations on successfully completing," and blah 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 blah. Encloses your valid EMT1 and defibrillation certification identification card. That is what got me into the 8-week course. Wow. But I could do that, and mind you, there's 3 semesters worth of this class that are waitlisted, which means as soon as I could get in is fall, maybe a year from now, most definitely. So I'll be a registered EMT by June, back in the game. Wow. And move up from there.
June next year?
January next year. January.
Okay.
But June, yes, this June, I will complete the course and I can move on, moving my way up to get the patient care experience hours I need of about 500 more. And then I can move on to another thing crossed off for PA school.
Cool.
A lot going on, but got in the program. So that's the cool part. It's moving. Just never thought I'd revisit this in the past. And I was looking at old pictures and I discovered, you know what PPE is for medical, personal protective equipment, like the mask and stuff like that. I was having to wear that to go through the boxes. There was so much dust on these boxes.
Well, you know, James, people
Yes.
now know what PPE is.
I just said personal protective gear, like the face, you know, the face shield and stuff.
Yeah, but for the longest time, people didn't even know that term. I think the term has become very relevant in the COVID years.
Oh yeah, that's how I figured too. All right.
Yeah.
With that, that's the latest adventure. But tonight we are talking about basic first aid skills and home, you know, emergencies you might be having at home. Tonight we're going to be starting off with just basic terminology. What is first aid? And we're going to talk about the discipline of it. And we're going to go over what you should have in your own home first aid kit, or even the one you carry in your car. And this is going to be about a 3 or 4 part show we're going to do over the next few months. And we're going to show how to like basically, you know, bandage injuries, gauze, what to do for minor burns, scrapes, cuts, stuff like that, how to recognize a heart attack. We'll be going over the next few shows. It's too much to show in one show. We could go over it, but we'll at least want to get this and then go over a little more detail as we go along. And folks, we'll be highly encouraging you to check out and look at online classes you could take, or courses locally that are offered by the American Red Cross or the American Heart Association. So we'll be doing that. So shall we get started?
Yes.
Totally. All right. We're right on that time. So about 10:15, we'd like to get the show subject. All right. Tonight, we would definitely got to first say is that the information we are presenting is for informational and entertainment purposes. We have to do this legal disclaimer for this. Again, we're just showing what can be done for information and entertainment purposes. If you feel there is a medical emergency that you're dealing with, don't go back and look at a rerun of this show on the internet. Call 911.
Yes, this is not meant to create a replacement of real like licensed medical advice. This is just meant for information purposes to put it out there. Okay.
Bingo. We've been talking about doing this. We've been wanting to visit the subject for a while, and considering just started pre-med, Savannah and I were talking. Let's do first aid this week.
We just wanted to make sure everyone knows this is not in any way providing an actual certification of any information that is going to create anyone to be like the perfect at-home anti-doctor. I don't know. So anyway.
Whatever it is, it's an overview, but let's just say that for those of you who are watching, we should present you a certificate from Late Night Craft Talk University. Just remember, when you tell people that you're working your first aid skills you learned while watching a show on the internet.
Yes.
And for those of you on YouTube, it's YouTube University. All right. Should we get started?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get it up over here. I got a PowerPoint. I got like stuff. All right. We're going to cover some stuff. We're going to make it fun. It's a little dry, but it is necessary to put this in there. And giving first aid is not just getting the Band-Aid and going, oh, okay, there's a scrape here. There's an actually organized mental process to this that we like to start off with and emphasize. It's part of a discipline you should have. It's probably a good discipline to build for overall decisions and deal with challenges anyways. And I actually have this whole thing set up for, is
it like an acronym where it's like stop, drop, and roll kind of thing?
Yeah, we have a few of those tonight. Only 2 slides on this thing, but I got to get it up from beginning. Okay, there we go. All right. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to cover the 5 first aid skills that you should know. And here they are. So 5 basic first aid skills everyone should know. And it's surprising that some people know some things, but not all of these. You don't have to be a doctor in this or, the level of paramedic. You need to have at least a good layman's understanding of these. Is going to be perform CPR. Carrying out the Heimlich maneuver. That is one of the most... You're more likely to have to do the Heimlich maneuver on somebody, not the Heimlich. So dirty mind.
No. There's this really, I'm sorry to digress a little bit. There's this show that I've watched that's really funny where this guy's hitting on a grandma and he sees she started to choke and he's a young man. He likes older women.
Older women are beautiful lovers. Older women know how to treat a man.
It's just funny and it's wrong at the same time. So that's all I have
I
to
was just
say.
singing an old country song. Okay. We'll have to talk about that after the show. Anyway, to go back to this, folks.
Okay.
To bring it right here, we go of carrying out the Heimlich maneuver, which takes 5 minutes to learn, a little bit of practice, but you're more likely to have to do that than CPR on somebody. But it's a damn good thing to know. Somebody's choking, you don't just punch them in the stomach, though it's a good excuse. Setting a splint, stopping bleeding, and treating burn injuries. Out of these, the most likely you're going to have to do is the bleeding and treating burn injuries, just because of cooking at home and whatnot.
Yes.
So those are the first ones that we're going to be covering over the next few months. We're going to visit specifics of these, and we kind of talked earlier in the show as you learn how to identify a heart attack versus say indigestion, stuff like that, just to cover that. And with that, when you first have an injury that happens, you remember this overview. If I can remember, where's the little mouse cursor? I'm looking for my mouse cursor. There it is. Bring it over here.
I was like, I don't see it.
I do now. Well, it gets lost on here between 4 screens. Okay. What the next part is, that is not, dang it. Okay. Where are you, mouse cursor? Dang you, technical difficulties.
Can't you just click the enter key?
I just did. I just had to get it over there to recognize it. Okay. Now, what we have right here is the first ABCs: awake, breathing, and continued care. This is the process you would do to evaluate and deal with a patient, being someone at home, a stranger on the street. Trying to think of a joke to put in which includes Svea in, but I can't think of one, so that was my intention. Well, you got to fire back at me, girl, too. It's a two-way street.
Okay. I think it's more of like a pick on Svea situation all the time.
It is every week, but you're supposed to go back at me, too. But you're just going to play innocent and go, oh, look what he's doing to me.
Exactly.
Folks, you had to see us off the show.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a victim, but, All right. With that, there's actually, I have this whole thing here. Okay, ABCs. Quit doing that pop-ups. Okay, to cover the ABCs. Awake. And I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. So, babe, pipe in anytime you want. This is from Very Well Health.
This is where you punch the chest.
Where you punch the chest.
Are you awake? Boom.
Yeah,
right?
For those of you that know CPR, this is actually similar to CPR, but this is a different type. And this is actually from a British website that offered some good information. James is the one that can't find the mouse from Wendy.
Okay, here, look. I'm just here to pick on James.
Yes, Jen, and you do very well. Your money is on Svea. I feel the love and support, folks.
James can't find the mouse.
Totally.
And Emily, it was so lovely to meet in person. I absolutely love your storefront and ever long lasting will of beads. Definitely must go in California. Yes. Okay.
Hi, Emily. We were talking about you earlier. All good.
Emily, we need you to be on our show in a little bit to talk about what we talked about at the store.
Yeah, we need you back on as a show again, and then we can do the hula hoop challenge again, too. And they might have to do it with the jump rope, too. All right. So with the first aid, first is number is awake. If you come across somebody, you want to think, what's their situation? It's part of evaluating what's going on. First of all, are they awake?
Do you punch in the chest, James? This looks like what they're doing.
What they're actually doing is that...
Are they punching them in the chest like, boom, are you awake?
You got to be pretty brutal for that one. What they're actually doing on that one is that it's under assumption that part of this is taking your knuckle and just kind of going to the sternum and just kind of pressing down, because that can be kind of painful to somebody. And if they're just sleeping, could be somebody at a party and they're just passed out drunk or just passed out on the sidewalk. You press right there to see if they're awake and get them awake, because they could just be sleeping. It could be something else. If they stay unconscious, there's something going on more than just somebody.
So it's kind of like punching someone in the chest a little bit.
Vaguely, because like I said, if you take where they got their knuckles, you press on the sternum right here like this, and you press right there and you rub it down right there, it creates some pain, or it kind of goes in, and that will jolt somebody awake. So you know if they're actually unconscious or just hung over. Like I said, I love this. Feel the love, Jen. Feel the love.
Jennifer says, "I'll punch James in the chest whenever you think he needs it."
From 100 miles away in Escondido, Sevea's reaches that far. Believe me. I'm not showing the hand marks right there where Save's going, James, do that show. And I'm like, no, Jen will be there. You can be to me.
Thanks, Jen.
Okay. With that, we also have the awake.
Okay.
Number 2 is breathing. If the person is unconscious and you're testing them, you definitely want to find out if they are breathing, because if they're not breathing, that means a serious condition is a very, 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 very serious condition.
So you covered their whole mouth and nose. You covered their whole mouth and nose with your hand like this.
That's one way to do it, or
you plug their nose to see if they reply,
or just take your foot off their head and when they're in the swimming pool.
So if you punch them in the chest and then you just put your hands over them.
You could do that. Now, okay. How would you check somebody if you did this sternum thing? How would be the next thing you would do to see and make sure that they're breathing? What would you feel?
I probably would take a mirror out of my purse and put it by their nose and mouth to see if they're breathing.
Bingo. Depending on the weather like that, or just wet a finger, just hold it in front of their nose, look at the rise and fall of their chest to see if they're breathing. If they're not breathing, it's time for CPR or an AED, preferably an AED, but I don't think you have those. And the next part is continue care. So if they're conscious, why are they unconscious? Why are they on the ground? It's part of an assessment, folks. This seems basic, but you do that. Continue care. If it's like a traffic collision, a car accident, there may be, you want to make sure that they're conscious or they're unconscious, and then look over part of their evaluation and see if they have, gashes, a wound like that, where you can see where they're taking just like what looks like a washcloth right there, or
it looks like a little bit of ketchup as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the highest end of simulations right there. It's Hollywood makeup there. Yeah. So obviously determine if they're bleeding or if it's a spilled French fry on their wrist.
Yes, exactly. You could lick it if you really wanted to see if it's ketchup. But if the blood is that thick, there's a lot more going on that you cannot treat it on that one. Yeah.
Especially that color coming from an artery.
Yeah, that'd be really upsetting.
No, kind of actually. Yeah, there's that, because that would be that artery. All right. With that, they're probably emulating a compression with a gauze or a bandage right there, which, a wash rag or a little thing like that is better than nothing, especially if you're trying to stop bleeding on there. So continue care. So that's the way you want to evaluate this, and that's actually a logical progression on this. You just can't walk up and go, "Oh, they're bleeding," but then you find out it doesn't matter if they're bleeding because they may not breathing. So those are 3 things you want to establish you can do fairly quickly with wound care. And with that, I think I hit a wrong button. How did that happen? Is it this one? No, that one. No.
Yes.
This one. We got it. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
So what do you think, Lynette? Yes or good or no? Good or bad information?
So far, so good.
Okay, she's giving a thumbs up.
Cool. So most people are our viewers that are very wise about the world and are very informed anyways. They're going to go, duh. But we may have some of our viewers, most of our viewers are in the next 3-5 days after a show. That's where we get most of our views. They may not know about it, or a kid may not know about it. So it's good to cover those basics just to get that thought process down.
It's good information to know.
Yeah, with that, so it's already 10:30. All right. Did you do the movie thing? Did you get those reels ready?
I have some things that I found.
Okay, we'll get that at the end of the show. Or do you want?
Yeah.
Should we move on to first aid kit?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to cover some stuff you want to have in your basic first aid kit. And again, look for information by a company's website, or especially look for classes and follow up on this from American Red Cross. And I've got their website loaded up. We'll get that in a little while. But you can carry this around in your car, keep it in your home. This is one that we just happened. This is the first time I'm ever going to open it. We bought it last year. Never mind all the stuff I have in my trauma bag. Just a basic essentials first aid kit for the home, or keep in the car. That you just text me that?
That's the link.
That's the link. Okay, got it. So with that, things you want to do there. And you can even stock your own. And mind you, if you bought one of these and you haven't touched it in like 3 years, go through an inventory of that thing to see what is out of date, because this stuff is not good forever. And Lord knows you don't want to get an ace bandage and find the thing that has moths in it. So keep it up to date. I just talk belched again. I do that every week. Anyway, make sure these things are up to date. Make sure it's properly stocked. Check it out every 3 to 6 months is what I personally suggest. So things you would find in there, a lot of times you'll find a emergency first aid guide, a small reference manual, and just go through there and just go through with your kids or yourself and just look at these basic things. What's on there? It'll show you how to use it. And this, you'll find that this comes in handy, and especially for non-emergency situations. If it's an emergency situation, like somebody bleeding with that thick of ketchup blood, not where they spilled fries. Look at what Vivian just said. You're going to pop that up because I haven't looked at it yet. On that, or they're not breathing, definitely that's called an emergency situation. Dial 911, not 911. There's no 11 on the phone.
Yes.
911.
Okay,
so get familiar with this.
You want to finish talking about what you're talking about?
No, bring it up. I want to see what Vivian says. It's always comedy gold.
Okay. Vivian says, I've always heard if 2 people are injured and one person is screaming bloody murder about how they're dying and the other person is extremely quiet and not moving, you should always check the second person first who is extremely quiet and not moving. Is this correct, James?
Yes. If the other person's screaming, they're obviously conscious and able to communicate. If the other person's not, there may be a head injury or something else going involved. That's what I would do, and I have been in those situations.
Okay. James also. Trauma in a Bag by James Hermes. So why don't you say Trauma in a Bag and then go by James Hermes.
Trauma in a Bag by James Hermes. It's almost like a poem, but not as cool sounding as if Sir Patrick Stewart did it. There you go. Wendy, The Wise in the Ways of the World is directed by the Internet and Memes. Well, I'm the Wise in the Way of the World of Memes. All right. Things you find that Wendy is amazing. She's, anybody who's been in the military is going to have combat training, combat medic training. I forget what it's called, something very close to that. And a lot of the stuff they're going to know it anyways. They're going to have skills on par with an EMT just from having to be in, being in the military. And did you just text me again? Well, somebody's texting.
No, James needs to put his phone on silent while we're on the show.
No, because it creates fun distractions.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
What if the president calls me?
The president calls you, they can wait because you're doing the most important thing right now. You're doing the show Late Night Craft Talk. And that takes precedence over any president phone call.
I'm the El Presidente. I could call myself.
Exactly. And they can wait.
Wave your finger when you do that.
They can wait.
Not with their president. Okay.
Do I need to take out the knife or scissors?
Only if Vivian does it. Okay. Things you're going to have in the basic first aid kit at home. Trauma pad like this.
What is a trauma pad?
5x9 inch. For those of you, those are our Canadian viewers or out of country viewers. That's going to be 12 centimeters by 22.8 centimeters. But for those of you in USA,
so James, Lynette says, what if the president is texting for medical advice?
If that's the case, it is a medical emergency. If the president's texting me for about that in some emergency situation, I will stop the show and I will answer it with my phone on. So Svea, you got to think. That's a reason for me to leave the phone on.
And then I'd actually want to hear the actual president, not yourself calling yourself saying you have a medical emergency or medical advice needing.
That could happen. It just depends on which president. It could be ring, ring, ring. Hello? I have a headache. Well, this is how you treat it.
Oh my God, Jen says he'd only be calling to see when it would be a good time to punch.
I want to move to Canada, lol.
James.
Well, it's only because I'm manly enough.
Wait, I don't even know what that is.
I have no idea what that is either, but it made the cut to show on the show right there. The show. First
Okay.
aid is good. Okay, punch up Vivian's line. Show Vivian's.
Okay.
First aid is good to know when handling a knife. Vivian, you got to be a freaking doctor.
Okay, you guys. Vivian had this big knife, like imagine the knife long as this, and she's like, She's like the knife everywhere.
I'm looking for the knife. I don't have one near scissors on near my desk right now. Okay. Vivian would know, according to Wendy Hodge.
Okay.
But as far as the president wanting to punch me in the chest, only because I'll be like, do it, dude. We're going to see you with more manly. And then she'll punch me, and I'll cave and cry, cuddled up like a little baby with my thumb in my mouth. All right.
Okay.
So other things you want to do, of course, the gauze pads are going to have. That's basic.
I'm sorry. Hold on a second. What's a trauma pad?
Trauma pad?
Yeah. What's a trauma pad? I've never heard of a trauma pad. You have it in your hand.
Basically, it's gauze.
So
it's
can
a gauze
they just say
pad.
gauze? I mean, doesn't it just make sense to call it gauze?
It could be, but it sounds more dramatic if it's a trauma pad, because if you haven't used one of these, something this big, there's a trauma going on. And I'm not talking about listening to Kenny G during a root canal.
Oh my God. She did cut the fingertip off.
Vivian.
Oh my God. You know, did you just
Obviously she was practicing for October
and put a Band-Aid because it reattaches, I heard. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Rarely. And yeah, I did that to myself once. I cut off the tip of my finger, like right to here, and I put a Band-Aid over it, duct tape, and left it there for a week, and the skin readhered in the mouth and the meat, which was just strange that happened. I was about 17. I'm like, okay, I could make a lizard joke and we're growing limbs back.
President for the win.
Well, remember, I'm a president. I'm an El Presidente. I would be punching myself, and I'd win and lose, but mostly win.
All right. Okay. Next.
Sure. So in there, you'd have various size gauze pads. They're sterile dressings right there. First thing you want to do if you have a medical emergency, especially on somebody else, put on the gloves. Put on the latex gloves. You're allergic to latex. You can get it made from other materials. But that's the first thing you want to do is establish that first protective barrier. So if there's any bloodborne diseases,
it's probably a good idea just to have some gloves in the house anyway. You can use them for all kinds of things like cutting onions, cutting jalapeno, picking up yucky things, all that kind of stuff. And then if you just have them in the house and you have to put gloves on because of the situation where someone's bleeding all over your floor, then that probably would be, a handy thing to have around.
Absolutely. There's always going to be at least one set. Like right here, there's one set in this bag, in this first aid kit. And another thing to remember is I always keep around, like in my truck, I keep about 3 sets. Personal first aid kit, a little one that just folds down the little dry box about yay big. I keep it stuffed with stuff. You see me using it on your mom when she had that redwood tree of a splinter in her hand a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I always carry about 2 sets in there because there may be multiple victims. There may be 2 things in one day. But again, where the latex gloves establishes a protective barrier against if there's any bloodborne disease, especially if you're not able to wash your hands quickly, it helps protect anything that might be on your hands from the victim, especially if they have an open wound. They've got a big open doorway for bacterial viral infection.
You don't want to put any of your hand bacteria on to their cuts.
I was about to make a bathroom joke. I'm not going to.
Okay, really quick. So Wendy says it can. I cut a fingertip off once and I band-aided it back on a summer job in high school.
It can be done. I said I've done it. I don't know why, but typically if it's a clean cut, it can happen.
Here. Vivian says, luckily I was able to reattach it. My sister was following me around cleaning up the blood.
So Vivian, when you did that, were you bleeding? We're going, sister, room service, clean up blood. What I do, doctor things to myself.
And then Jen says, sorry, President of the United States of America, not a self-proclaimed president.
Jen, obviously you don't read it. You don't read enough and get enough of an education on the internet.
James, she's like this. She's like a snake. She's like,
yeah. But I'm like Serpentor from Cobra, from the G.I. Joe. They bite it, but I'm made from venom. and all the greatest heroes and villains of history.
Okay.
But
Okay,
obviously,
what else is
Jen, you
in
need
that?
more of an internet education.
What else is in that kit?
Okay, we're going on. In there's going to be small things in here like basically an antibiotic ointment. You can use this to help prevent infection. This might be used to clean the wound. Some people like to use, it's old school to use iodine, but there's a lot of people that may have a allergic reaction to iodine. Generally, I try to avoid that to clean the wound before bandaging.
That antibiotic ointment that you're saying you're going to put on someone, you need to ask them if you can about allergies, because myself, I'm allergic to neomycin, polymyxin, and neomycin. All three of those items are in polysporin.
And guess what that is? Neomycin.
Neosporin.
Basically,
So
it's neosporin, but there's neomycin, so we couldn't use that on you.
Definitely try to make sure, if you can, ask the person if they are coherent, if they're allergic to anything as well.
Yeah. This is something you want to use. I would put on there to help keep antibacterial. It wouldn't be this. You don't use this to clean the wound, but use this to help keep the wound like that. But there's a lot of people. I try to actually stay away from like neosporin and whatnot. Depends on the person. I could use it myself. I'm fine. Polysporin is one of those things that's kind of dubious, but generally better than nothing. With that, there's gonna be other stuff to clean the wounds. You've got antiseptic wipes that'll be in there. Antiseptic towelette. You can use this if you absolutely have to. Use this to clean your hands. I would personally want to use this to clean the wound, but it's better than nothing. It's antiseptic. Usually I want to get something that's an alcohol base to do that. So you got a number of those in there. Burn gel. So if you've got somebody with a third degree burn, if it's minor, but second degree burn, you can put this burn gel on there. After running it over cold water, we'll treat burn treatments in a later show. Other things that would be in the first aid kit is just various size like Band-Aids. These are little circular ones that can use over the point of like, say, a blister. You can do that. Never pierce a blister. Rarely pierce a blister. Okay. It's going to have applications on here for like, say, the polysporin. You're going to have these one-sided type of ear swabs. They're basically cotton swabs. Use that to apply like, say, polysporin. If you want to clean the wound, and I said, what was the stuff I said? To clean it that not people like. I'll remember in a minute. Huh?
The antiseptic wipe?
Yeah, antiseptic wipe. Not really the antiseptic wipe, but use this to apply any polysporin to an area, to a cut before you cover over with a bandage. Okay. First aid tape, minor first aid tape for putting on the gauze that's going to be over the wound. You can also have one of these. You can have hot and cold compresses that will do if you have somebody that's like, say, sprained ankle, bruised muscle. There's two of these in here, and they're only a once use, but you've got an instant cold pack. Basically, some of them, there's ones that you will rip open. Generally with these is that you just, the single use is you just crumble it up. There'll be directions on here that says, like right here, shake the contents to the bottom of the bag, locate inner pouch and squeeze firmly, break, and open. So it's going to have an inner side there. You shake it up. It'll be instant compress. It'll last a couple hours, so you got cold. And you really should learn when to apply heat and cold. Different injuries are going to require different treatments. So like some muscles, if they're sore, you don't want to put heat on it because it's just going to speed up inflammation or anything. Depending on how they pull it, it's very different. But you might want to do a cold compress. That alleviates pain.
Let me do some updates really quick.
Yep.
Vivian says Jen's killing it. Wendy's saying mercury chrome when she was growing up. And then Jen says, I got enough education. I don't think I would kick you in the shins too, because I will.
You can do that.
And then Wendy says,
iodine. Iodine's the word I was trying to remember. But yes. Iodine's one of those things I try to steer clear from, but you would use that and apply it to iodine over a wound right there to do that as a disinfectant.
What about just pouring rubbing alcohol?
That'll burn like hell.
But is it effective? No?
Yeah. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Typically, I try to use an alcohol wipe for that because if you can do too much rubbing alcohol, at which point you're just going to go inflame the wound on there, or the person's pain, they're going to jerk on you.
Okay. What about if people have like Bactine?
Bactine, honestly, I haven't worked it with that much. Bactine, I would mostly use for like say mosquito bites and stuff like that. If it's getting itchy, is I would be using Bactine. What would you use it?
Bactine was like a first aid antiseptic. Like it didn't have a sting. They called it like that sting-free antiseptic. So I
Okay.
think it didn't have alcohol in it. It usually was like a white bottle with a green cap, and it had like a red circular logo.
Yeah, because usually I carry some of my trauma bag. I'll have that, and I'll put that on some scrapes and actually like mosquito bites and whatnot to stop itching and another basically inflammation is what I'll use that for.
What about hydrogen peroxide?
Hydrogen peroxide is a double-edged sword. Again, that's not one of those things I steer away from because it actually kills tissue. There's some people that will say if there's scar tissue and you put it in your ear, or if there's an infection or scrape, hydrogen peroxide kills cells. You need healthy cells to repair it.
Oh. So hydrogen peroxide is really a no.
It's got its benefits, but generally I try to do that where it can kill dead tissue or scrapes or whatnot, do that, but it's also going to, again, it's going to heat and damage healthy cells when you want scrapes and, the skin to heal on that one.
Okay.
But again, you've got basic stuff. You don't have anything huge, extensive in here, but one of the things I like about this kit is it's also got an aluminized rescue blanket, basically Mylar. It's a reflective blanket. So if you have somebody that had an injury, fell in a pool or whatever, or they're very cold, you've got something to reflect heat back on them. This is valuable to have in, like, say, your car, because you're more likely to use Mylar like that that's reflective, reflect body heat back at you. You can use that for not frostbite, but what's it called? You get really cold, hypothermia. You can use that if you're out and about, like your car. If you've got somebody that's slightly hypothermic, you can actually get hypothermia in the middle of the desert in the middle of summer. I've seen it happen because people are in their swimming pool too damn long, or a river.
Okay, so Lynette says, do not douse a minor wound with antiseptic like iodine or hydrogen peroxide. They're actually harmful to the skin and can delay healing and can break down new tissue cells.
That's exactly it.
Lynette is actually a registered nurse, so
yes,
it's not from nowhere that's coming from.
Pretty much. I forgot iodine also does that. Thank you, Lynette. It's like the hydrogen peroxide. It kills healthy cells. It doesn't. It's kind of an old practice that's been outdated, that's been proven not a good idea. But this is the problem with some people that go layman, that go from medical training that they picked up, they heard from their neighbor, rather than trying to take a recognized first aid course.
Oh, this is interesting. Wendy says, Svea, if allergic to medicine, try using organic, non-processed honey on a cut or a scrape and cover it with a Band-Aid. Works just as good as Neosporin.
Absolutely.
So I can literally take the honey from my mom's beehive and pour it all over my body and just put a Band-Aid all over it and hope that my whole body gets better.
I wonder if we should have done that on the self-care episode where I put the mask on. Yes, honey has that. Honey has a lot of great healing properties on that one. I'm actually trying to stay away from home remedies and not mention that on the show.
Yeah. Okay.
But home remedies are absolutely effective. There's reasons why we have practices on that. I mean, I'll say one time I had a spider bite from a brown recluse, and I treated that where I had no necrotic tissue from using sliced potatoes as a poultice on the wound.
Our Twitch follower said, I didn't know that. I'm glad I haven't used it in a while. So that was probably in regards to the iodine and the hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
And then Wendy says, I also know hippie medicine.
Oh, Wendy's amazing. She is a freaking almanac of information that works.
Lynette says,
you're right.
Bee pollen has amazing healing properties.
Yeah, bee pollen you find in honey. Honey has amazing, even for allergies.
Yeah.
A lot of other things. Honey is amazing stuff.
Okay. Hey, James, you want to wrap up what's in your first aid kit? Because
let's wrap it up. We knew to do this, but folks, we knew we wouldn't even cut a lot of this, but we're just having fun because Jen's like, let's pick on James. And James is going, all right, Jen, let's do a public information episode.
It's fun to harass him.
Information that could save somebody's life, Jen.
He loves this.
You're not helping us save somebody's life.
He likes
I'm going nowhere with that. Okay. Let me wrap it up right here. Other things will be in the first aid kit on these. And this has actually got a fair amount in it. triangular bandages, long wide band-aids, narrow ones, that the variety right there. That's 90% of what you're going to use out of a home first aid kit anyways. The cold compresses, there's going to be other things in here for bite, sting wounds, different types of non-aspirin extra strength right here. So I could do a whole show just on aspirin or whatnot, with what's the folks of that, why it's good or not. But that's where you find the first aid kit. I'm not going to touch my trauma bag because that's got a lot more in it. But that's what I take. The trauma bag's what I take, and I'll show it. That's enough gear right there to treat 10 people with various things and it's just stuffed in there with nice aspirins, liquid Benadryl, stuff like that I have in there. I would actually, that's for various medical scenarios, somebody being sick, not just cut, scrapes, burns like you find in the home first aid kit. But this is stuff with stuff, and like I said, this could be used for a group of 10 people, and I carry this on my kayak trips. And when I have a bigger group, I will fill this dry bag with first aid kits. This is a condensed mini trauma bag.
Okay, so James.
Yep.
Are we ready to move to the next step? Because we have less than 10 minutes to do.
Yes, I do. All right, we covered the basics where you go in there, and boy, that thought we get more, but anyway, so that's what you want to find in your home first aid kit. Look for something in there, and if you have more medical knowledge, fill that sucker with other things for contingencies. Look at the benefits of liquid Benadryl, Aleve, depending on the person's condition, where they may not be able to have something with ibuprofen in it. Look at other things like that. Stick in your car, check it every 3 to 6 months to restock it to make sure things don't melt. But carry those with you. Look at that. All right.
Okay.
So what we have next?
James, if you wanted to look at that link I sent you, just so you know what I'm going to be bringing up, okay?
I'm getting it now.
So the first thing I was going to ask you about. Okay. So do you remember the movie Jurassic Park?
I love Jurassic Park.
Okay. You remember how there's a part where the kid is climbing down the fence, climbing over the enclosure, and he's like climbing down, and the gates turn back, the fences turn back on. And he like shoots down, and he's like smoking, and like he's not breathing, so the guy does CPR on him.
Okay. For one, if the fence was electrified like that, it wouldn't shock him, he'd fly back. If you're holding an electrified fence, I know this from what's called a tick line, which is an electrified fence to keep cattle in. If the voltage is that big, if he's not grounded on that, his hands will hold that. He will not be able to remove his hands because they'll just spasm, close the muscles, and he will just stay there and just get shocked. Especially if he's holding a pool of water, but he's got nothing to ground him. He would not fly back like that. He would stay on there and just get electrocuted.
Okay. All right.
And doing CPR to somebody that's had that, yeah, why not?
Okay.
They maybe burn in different parts of their body, depending where the electricity exited the body on that one. But generally, yeah, it's going to stop your heart.
So there's a movie called Old School with Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
and there's this part where he's like totally like he's drunk. He shows up at his friend's kid's birthday party, and there's an animal farm, and he gets this like big old like tranquilizer gun. He's like playing with it, and he shoots himself in the neck with the tranquilizer. Is he instantly gonna like pass out and get all weird and stuff?
If it's a tranquilizer designed for a large animal, it could potentially stop his heart. But will it instantly affect him? Yeah. But it depends on the dosage in there, the cc's and everything. But like I said, it can deliver him. In extreme cases, it could stop his heart. But yeah, instant drunk. Yeah.
Okay. So
he probably wouldn't act drunk. He would get it knocked out unconscious very quickly.
So
very quickly.
Have you guys seen the movie Shooter? It's with Mark Wahlberg.
We were talking about that earlier today.
So there's this part in the movie where he gets shot in like his shoulder, right? He gets shot in his shoulder, or it's actually his abdomen, I think. And he's like being hunted by the FBI, and he goes into a convenience store, and he gets a turkey baster thing, and he gets some sugar, and he gets some. What else? He got some kind of liquid. I don't remember what the liquid was, but he made himself an IV, right? Then he like took the needle and he started sewing it closed, sewing his whole clothes. At first he cut open his skin and he took a thing and he pulled out the bullet and started sewing his arm his closed, and he poured. I think he poured like hydrogen peroxide on his cut, right?
I answered that part of that.
I just realized that. Yeah. So anyway, is that really like someone could actually IV themselves and like sew their cut clothes like that and pull a bullet out? Is that really
the bullet part? Okay, for one, if the bullet's in his body like that and you're pulling it out, you are going to have infection from that big time. Pulling the bullet out, generally any kind of penetrating wound, you want to go to an ER for. But the way he was going out there, for one, his tolerance for pain is off the charts. Dousing it like that, unless you're an MD and highly trained. But as far as like, say, we go to the part of sewing yourself back up, yeah, I've done it.
Ugh.
I've had to do it out in the field. I've had a gashing wound and I've had to sew it closed. The Band-Aid, I would try to do with a butterfly bandage. Something that requires staples. I've had to sew myself.
Ugh.
It wasn't fun. It was a minor wound. Anything else, I'm pressing the emergency beacon on my satellite messenger and the SOS button and get out of there because of the potential of infection from dirt and whatnot being out there. But generally, sewing it self closed in extreme situations, yeah, it can be done. There was a case of back in the 90s over at McMurdo Station in McMurdo Research Station in Antarctica, of a guy who had to give himself a root canal, who was wintering at McMurdo, and you're not getting out of there. It's just too cold. You might get a supply drop off, but the guy had to give himself a root canal. And there's been other cases where doctors, Dr. Heal Thyself, have had to do minor procedures on themselves. But yeah, sewing the wound, yeah. I'm surprised you're not going to ask about the OD scene in Pulp Fiction.
That was one of the ones I was going to do. So is it really true? You just take a needle and go right
with the adrenaline, the heart, with instant like that. I honestly don't know. I used to know I'll probably remember correctly, but there's a lot of things that Pulp Fiction gets right on the scene with that. With was that Mia Farrow that played Marcel's wife, Marcel Wallace's wife? Not Mia Farrow. It wasn't Mia Farrow.
It was. She was in Kill Bill.
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, yeah.
Uma Thurman. As far as the adrenaline working in the heart like that, I honestly don't know on that part. I can say that there are effects where you have somebody that's maybe ODing that's on the effect of illegal drugs. There's a drug called Narcan you can use that will bring them back to some level of lucid consciousness. But, as long as you administer that, it'll negate the effect of the illicit drugs for a while. To do that, you can bring them back like that. But I don't know about an OD situation. I really don't know.
That is like 100%, guys. Just so you know, all of these situations, all are medical situations that probably need to be seen by an ER. But I'm just talking about movie
scenes, how realistic they are.
Movie magic.
I think probably the one that's the most interesting on that would be actually the kid in the electric fence on Jurassic Park, and especially that scene from Pulp Fiction with the OD scene with Uma Thurman. Mm-hmm. What's it say on your part right there?
Well, I just was looking through. I found this article kind of late, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing to like.
Yeah, I'm looking right here on the article. Let's see what this says right here. Inject adrenaline into Mia's heart. She screams and wakes up. The scene training as it is would never occur. Oh, wait. This says the chance of puncturing a lung or lacerating the heart or other vessels in the chest would be high. So you don't just shove it in there. Yeah. In a cardiac arrest, preferred route of epinephrine injected into the an epinephrine injection into an arm vein concurrent with chest compressions, which would move the drug through the circulatory system and into the heart. I've practiced acute care medicine over the 3 decades, and I've never found a need to inject epinephrine into a patient's heart directly. That answers the question. I was thinking that in the back of my head. No, it's not realistic.
Yeah. It says also that it's very unlikely that she would wake up instantly, and if her diagnosis was stupor from the combination of alcohol and heroin, then perhaps the pain of the injection would wake her. If she was suffering from a heroic and narcotic overdose, the specific antidote would be Narcan, not adrenaline, and it should be injected into one of her arm veins. If her diagnosis was a cardiac rhythm disorder, such as ventricular fibrillation or ventricular fibrillation, I'm saying it right, which caused sudden death, the only therapy likely to immediately revive her would be cardiac defibrillation by an ACD, an automatic cardiac defibrillator, similar to machines found in public areas like airports or arenas. We're reading this.
I actually am probably going to have to buy one for kayak trips for group because of my insurance.
This is just so you guys know, this is from an article that we found on the internet. So this is not like I said, this is from a person who's a doctor. Well, says he's a doctor. You never know.
He may be a doctor on the internet and real life. Just like, though, you talk about internet doctors, we do have Dr. Cadell that occasionally comes on the show is a legit, real doctor because he says he is on the internet. That, and I know him, and yeah, he's a legit doctor. He's actually a surgeon. About 2 other things in his specialty. You tell from his titles and his name with that.
Okay, you disregard that Twitch thing. I don't know. It's not it's an advertisement.
Obviously. Hey, we're good enough, folks. We actually have from Twitch a guy saying, offer promotion on our channel. We're wildly well enough that we're getting spam on our show during the show right now.
Yeah, which after our show is not live anymore on Twitch, it will disappear. So
yeah, pretty
much.
But
this is kind of interesting that my audience is saying says if it's on the internet, it must be true.
Because it's true because you're watching the internet right now. Well, I'm just thinking, we're going places. We're getting big time now. We're getting unsolicited advertisements right now posted that we're seeing from Twitch.
And guess what? It's past 11, so we need to sign off.
Yes, we do. Let's catch up right quick. Just got everybody to respect our viewers right quick. Let me scroll up, see what the last one we did. We should do a show on home remedies. Gonna happen. Be picking Wendy's brain. Other one we have, does James's trauma bag help people or just give them trauma? The answer is yes.
So what? Oh, just gives them trauma.
Oh, I love that.
So our follower from Twitch says, stay on Twitch, but ban the bots. No problem. We are going to stay on Twitch. I'm just saying that as far as I understand, our live feeds do not stay viewable after. So
no, most of our views are Facebook and YouTube. I wonder if it's Kimiko that's watching on Twitch.
I don't know. It could be Kimiko.
Could be. Kimiko got to let us know. With that, Burrow would be great with that for the home remedies. Hey, yeah, that man's in a PhD on that one. And the inquiring minds want to know, as far probably with the trauma bag, the answer is yes, yes, and no, no. And yes, no, no, yes.
Okay. And
Wendy, continue that. I'm going to fill my trauma bag in my purse and hit you with my purse. You get another solicitation. Inquiring minds want to know, do we have anything else? Nope.
Okay.
It's the internet, and then stay on Twitch, but I ban the bots. Wish. Okay. So we'll do part 2 in this probably February or early March. With that, we'll be talking actual wound care and how to do bandaging, and then we'll move on with other parts. But we give a good introduction tonight. With that, we got to say what's on next week's show.
Next show, we're going to be talking about unicorns.
The history of unicorns, the culture of unicorns, and about unicorns.
I don't even have something unicorn to show you. James, do you have some kind of unicorn to show?
Yes, I do.
It's a unicorn.
It's a real unicorn. Look how big it is.
Oh my gosh. I just figured out. I just figured out. Oh my gosh. I figured out a justification to buy a unicorn statue.
I got some.
Okay.
Unicorns are manly, especially that machine guns.
Okay, guys.
Unicorn.
So we're so excited about our next week's episode. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it. We're gonna talk about the history about it. We're gonna talk about all kinds of unicorn lore, etc.
Unicorns.
So
Folks, get ready for a rainbow fun Pegasus flying over the sky unicorn, rainbow unicorns, and they poop rainbows. So we might be talking about the digester tract and what's it called where it shoots out the butt? The excretive tract.
okay. Okay, let's go away from that. Okay. All right.
Tract of unicorns.
So now we're going even further in. Okay. So hey everyone,
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining
Off
us.
the rails and deep over.
We always have so much fun picking on James. It's so much fun, and I'm so glad the audience is now really participating on picking on James with me. So we get to pick on James for a whole hour. It's pretty awesome. I love it.
And I'm putting on my brave face, and folks, thanks to you, some psychiatrist is going to get rich in somebody in the trauma group. I will cry myself to sleep tonight, knowing I'm loved, or not. Probably not. All right, we ready? I have to look for the closing credits thing. We're gonna have the new credits next week. We ready?
Yeah.
Okay, folks, this has been
We're ready.
another episode of Late Night Crap Talk. Better dance with the folks. Different next week. New credits next week, Mikey. Show Princess Leia. Where's that post? Dance. Don't be injured.
Ain't
he cute? I hurted myself. I need my trauma back. My purse. Good night, folks.